All right. Okay. We are live on YouTube. I'm on a few minutes early because I was having issues. I'm having issues with my computer, and I just needed to make sure that it would work properly. Um, so hey y'all. Hey. How are you doing today? Hey. How are you doing today? Hey.
At least you're here.
Oh no. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna be going live on TikTok, Instagram, and StreamYard. Hey y'all, I'm a few minutes early just because I'm having some computer issues today. All right. Okay. All right, let me make sure that everybody can. No. Okay. Actually, yes. Okay. All right. So we are on YouTube. We are on TikTok. Let me get y'all over here on Instagram. Hey y'all. Hello everybody. If you're ready to have a good time tonight, give me some stores in the comments, okay? We're going to have some fun. We're going to learn. Yes. So we are getting started promptly at 7. So, you know, I'm very excited about the stories that we are covering today. So, if you guys love celebrity mess and love learning, if you like edutainment, this is where you want to be, want to be, want to be. This is where you want to be. Da, 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 da. Hey, chocolate in the whatever. Hey everybody. Okay, so we're gonna start directly at 7. I just want to, get everybody on the same page. My mouse is acting up and it's irritating me. Hello to YouTube land. Hello Facebook. Hello. Where else are we broadcasting to? Multiple users. All right, so let's start. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Who's Get To this week. I am your host, Natalie Pierre Lewis. I am a business attorney, business and trademark attorney, and I am the owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC. What that is it's a business formation firm, and what that means is I help you get your business paperwork together. So you can scale and grow with confidence. So, getting your articles of incorporation, making sure you have contract templates, getting your trademarks, making sure you have hiring and training policies that are egalitarian. I help you with all of those. Hello, Barry, 25 Barry. I help you with all of those things. And set you up on the road for success. And in the pursuit of helping you guys be better business owners, I do this show every week, and I pull stories from the headlines, from things that are happening now, and we take those business and legal lessons and we talk about them here. Okay, so this is your time to ask questions. Don't be shy. There are no stupid questions in this place, as long as you keep it clean. All right, this is a clean broadcast. All right. Okay, so let's get started. Our very first story for the evening. This is just kind of an op-ed. How many of you guys have been hearing about all of these AI companies being sued? If you have heard about all of these AI companies being sued, please give me like a robot emoji in the comments, okay? Now, I've been telling you guys for several weeks, one of the largest AI companies, Anthropic AI. And what does Anthropic do? They basically make AI systems that they train other AI systems. So, and Anthropic had a large class action lawsuit that was lodged against them by hundreds of thousands of authors, saying that, they ripped off the material to train their their AI machine. And it's like, it's not even that, they purchased the information. It was that they had scraped this information, gotten pirated copies of things, and were using it to train their AI, right? So they were about to go to trial, but then there was a settlement, okay? The Anthropic settled with with this class action lawsuit for $1.5 billion. Hello, D. 1.5 billion, not million, billion, which and it worked out to about $3,000 per work that was violated, and there were about 500,000 identified violated works, right? But here's the thing: the judge who was presiding, or who was going to preside over this case, when they came to him and said, "Hey, judge, we figured it all out. Anthropic said they're going to drop a billy and we're done." The judge said, "Oh, no, 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 no. Anthropic is trying, they are planning to pay for those that they have identified. But what about those works that weren't identified? What are the systems that you're going to put in place to make sure that each and every author whose work was violated gets their recompense," right? So Anthropic has to go back to the draw board. They have to figure out a way of how are they going to identify every person who they violated in training their AI, right? So, and the thing is, you might say 1.5 billion. Yes, it is worth it to these AI companies to settle even with these billion-dollar awards. Why? Because they can write them off as losses. Okay, so if you instead of being judged, that this is what you call it, like a punishment from the court, if they settle with all of the people whose copyrights they violated, they can just write it off as a business loss. But the judge is like, no, 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 no. Even if you want to settle, I need to make sure that everybody who has been violated is going to get their just due. So the judge sent them back to the drawing board. But understand that these AI companies, they want to settle because they can write it off. Okay. So and usually when they do these settlements, they also make you sign like some airtight agreement that you can't talk about how they stole your stuff. And I feel like this judge is very anti-AI and is like, nah, bro, this ain't what we doing on today. So good luck to everybody involved in that. Okay, our next story. Do we have any Prince fans in the audience? Do we have any Prince fans in the audience? If we have Prince fans in the audience, please give me a purple umbrella emoji. Okay. A few. Come on. All right. You know what? I can't do the freaking. You're getting on my nerves. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to put these pictures in later. What? Okay. Y'all, my computer is really like testing my nerves right now. Okay. So, our next story. Thank you, D, for the purple emoji. Conjure, is that your substitute for the purple umbrella? Okay, all right. So a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys about Apollonia suing Prince's estate because Prince's estate was trying to trademark her name. And Apollonia, who we all know from the Purple Rain movie, she's been performing over the last few decades using that name, Apollonia, as her stage name, right? So she sued the estate. The estate said, hold on. If my computer would cooperate. Hello. Hold on. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Hold on, guys. Please bear with me. I'm having technical issues and it's taking me a bit of time to resolve them. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. You know what? Hold on. Please be patient, guys. All right. There we go. So, Apollonia sued Paisley Park for attempting to cancel her trademark. So it wasn't even just that, they were trying to trademark the name. They were trying to get her trademark canceled, right? So then she was like, well, what's up? Like, Prince had no problem with me using the name to, further my career. Now, the people from Paisley Park, which is his estate, they have responded and they said we never told her that she couldn't use the name. What did they say? Oh, come on. Come on. Are you freaking kidding me? Guys, please bear with me. And this is why sometimes paper is better than all of our gadgets and thingamabobs. Okay. Ugh. Can you just go? Okay. So again, Apollonia is, she's using her name to make money. The estate tries to trademark the name Apollonia and then tries to get her trademark canceled. So she sues the estate and says, what do you think you're doing? The estate says, we never told Apollonia to stop using her name, and we never said that, we never objected to her using it. What they are saying is that her trademark was already canceled when they tried to trademark it. And they also said that when Apollonia was trademarking her name, it was a very chaotic time in Prince's life. And they don't know if he was in his right mind when he said that Apollonia, could use her own name, it's her actual middle name, if she could use it to make money. Does that make sense to y'all? Does that make any sense to y'all? So they're basically saying that Apollonia, who he worked with so many years ago, that when she trademarked her name to go, make money on her own, that Prince, it was stuff going on in Prince's life and he couldn't really, agree to her using the name. What do you think about that? How many of you guys think that Apollonia took advantage of Prince by trying to use her own middle name to make money? He used her real name in the movie. Why do you think the estate is trying to go after the Apollonia name? Does anybody have any ideas in the comments? Why do you think the estate is trying to go after the Apollonia name? I'm going to tell you why. It's because Prince did not leave a will, and they are still trying to sift through that man's assets. And doing that, the estate is hemorrhaging money. They're running out of money. So they have to find a way to get more revenue, okay? And I bet you that this is what this is all about. These lawyers, there are several lawyers who have been hired to go through Prince's stuff, and because he refused to, take care of his affairs prior to his passing, it costs a lot of money. Think about the amount of years Prince was, touring, all of the assets he acquired, right? They have to find out exactly what did Prince own, how much is it worth, and who does it go to? And all of that costs money, right? So whoever is counting on the estate, who is in charge of Paisley Park? Does because I know that when Prince died, siblings were popping out the woodwork, but we could probably assume that some type of relative is taking care of Prince's estate, and it runs them a pretty penny. But now they're seeing, oh, these legal bills, they are stacking up. We got to find a way to get some money. Let's go back and try and run some trademarks and sell some merch. That's what I think is happening. Does anybody disagree? Or do you think that the estate has a right to use the Apollonia name? Let me know your thoughts, okay? Okay, let's do the next story. Okay. Our next story has to do with what do you call that? Merch, sports merch. Okay, this is for my crafters out there, my handmade business makers, my people who are blessed with their hands and can, it's kind of 50-50 for you, and can recreate anything, right? So Duke University, if you've heard of Duke University, just give me a DU in the comments. So you guys know that Duke University was kind of the backdrop for the series White Lotus, and they used a lot of what? Do you think why are they blocking that? Why are they blocking that? That makes no sense. Okay. All right. And whenever something popular comes out, people want to try to capitalize on it. But hey, Dr. Obed Magni, but Duke University they are a university. They have a sports team. They make money off of their sports. They make money off of their merch, right? What's weird? Yeah, it was weird. So Temu decided that they wanted to get in on the Duke University merch game and was selling knockoff Duke University merch. So of course, Duke University has sued Temu. Okay, the lesson that we take from this, guys, even though you may be able to recreate something, doesn't mean that you should. Okay, trademarks mean that when somebody has invested in a trademark, especially with sports, they make money with that name, that color scheme, that design makes them money. So when you come and you make your version of it, it's not just you being creative, it is you stealing money from them. That is what it amounts to. That's why they get so mad. Okay, so Temu tried to sell knockoff Duke University merch, and now they are being sued by the university, as they should be. And who is buying sports merch off of Temu anyway? Who is buying sports merch off of Temu? That's what I want to know. And then because you have this fake merch going around, that can kind of dilute the value of the jerseys out there. So Duke University, they're saying it dilutes our brand. It misleads consumers, because what if somebody's on Temu and they're like, Duke University is selling their jerseys on Temu now? What happened? Did they lose their endowment? Right? And then if you buy it and it's of poor quality and you think it's a genuine Duke University jersey, although if you're buying a Duke University jersey off of Temu, I highly doubt that you think it is that it is a genuine a jersey, right? But either way, it dilutes the brand. So that's why my makers out here, you shouldn't be reproducing these trademarked trademarked designs and things like that. Okay, and then on the flip side for that, you guys, when you have your brands, you should be trademarking those as well, because the market, the barrier to business is very low. Anybody can jump on the screen, jump on with a social media account and, you know, a Cash App or a PayPal and say they're running a business or whatever, right? But for you to really claim your territory out in these business streets, having your trademark together is very important. Hello, I am Nia Love. Okay. Ooh. All right. Next story that we are talking about. How many of you guys know the producer Calvin Harris? If you know the producer Calvin Harris, he tell me the song, his hit song with Rihanna in the comments. If you know the hit producer Calvin Harris, tell me the name of his hit song with Rihanna. Okay? Now, Calvin Harris is a very famous producer, right? Has toured all over the world, is, you know, probably very, very rich. But when you are managing a lot of wealth, it's important that one, you have the right team around you, and two, that you know what's going on in your business. How many of you on here remember seeing the stories of Pinky, the founder of Slutty Vegan, losing control of her business for a while? I think she lost a location. She had to file bankruptcy because she did not keep track of the yes, it is. Yeah. Love in a hopeless place. Na, 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 gotta let it go. Sorry, I got lost. But yes, so Calvin Harris, he got money, right? But when you have all that money, you gotta have somebody, you know, helping you maintain it so you don't get lost, right? And again, like I said, when you are managing large amounts of funds, you want to make sure that you have a team that you can trust, and a team, and you also want to know what's going on in your business. Hold on, because my computer is trying to embarrass me right now. Guys, hold on. Why is my voice so scratchy? Okay, hold on. Actually, no. Let's no. We can continue. I just gotta look for it. My computer is doing this thing where it's just like making everything big, and I can't. I need somebody to help me with my computer. Okay. So, like I said, Calvin Harris, big time producer, millions of dollars. Guess what? He is suing his financial advisor for $22.5 million. His financial advisor was able to swindle $22.5 million from him. Okay. Now, I don't know if Calvin Harris only had one person, but when you when you are in business, yes, you need to have the right team around you, but you need to make sure that you understand what's going on, so nobody can steal anything from under your nose. And that is what happened to Calvin Harris. So now he is trying to get relief from the court because the advisor took his $22.5 million and invested in some real estate thing, high round, right? So while, yes, as you grow, you're going to hire people to take care of your books and make sure the taxes are paid, but it is not something that you want to leave completely in someone else's hands. You want to go over your own books yourself, make sure nobody's stealing money from you, make sure nobody's cooking the books, so you don't get in trouble. Another issue. There was you guys have heard of that liquor Uncle Nearest. So the lady who owns the brand's Uncle Nearest, right? They had got a loan from a bank, and to secure the loan, they were supposed to have $100 million of $100 million worth of inventory on hand, right? Their accountant at the time said that they had it, provided all the paperwork. The owner of Uncle Nearest, the woman, she found out later that the accountant lied and that they didn't. So she fired the accountant. She reported it to the bank, but the bank is still trying to say that she defaulted on her loan. Okay. So again, this is why when you're getting into those millions, those high amounts, you probably want a team of advisors, because sometimes people, they get tempted. They're seeing all them zeros and they're like, let me just slip a couple in my pocket, okay? And because you count on these people being professional and having integrity, you don't think that they would do that to you because you're paying them. But people are greedy. So in your business, even if you delegate certain tasks to other entities, you still need to understand what's going on in that section. Okay. All right. Before we move on to our next stories, you're watching Who's Getting Sued This Week. I am your host, Natalie Pierre Lewis. This is where we learn business tips and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. Okay. So make sure that you subscribe so you can watch every week. All right. Our next story. How many of y'all love The Simpsons? If you love The Simpsons, put Springfield in the comments. Don't do this to me. Don't do it to me, baby. Don't do it to me, baby. All right. Yes, Springfield. Okay. So here is the issue. People love The Simpsons. The Simpsons have been around for I don't know how many, like what's come on, yo. Okay. Hold on. My computer is being dumb. Guys, come on. Okay. So basically, a bar in Philly, 30 plus years, a bar in Philly they held a pop-up shop that was themed, that was designed like Moe's Tavern from The Simpsons, right? So you could get, and you went in there, it looked like Moe's Tavern, and you could order drinks that were inspired by the cartoon. Here is the problem. All of those characters on The Simpsons are trademarked and copyrighted. Okay, so Fox went and knocked on the pop-up shop's door, said, hey girl, so that cute little pop-up shop that you were charging tickets for and making money, run us a coin. So here's how much they may have to pay. Okay. What's so congested? Hold on, guys. Are you kidding? All right. Hold on. Okay. So they ran a pop-up shop based on Moe's Tavern. You could order Duff beer. And they had food items as well, right? So Fox, 20th Century Fox, sent them a cease and desist letter. In February, they did the pop-up shop in shoot. I'm not sure when the pop-up shop happened, but it happened. They got a cease and desist in February of 2024. And apparently they ignored it. So they continued to do pop-up events that were Springfield themed, Moe's Tavern. So Fox said, "Oh, really? You think we're not gonna get our money?" They filed a lawsuit against them in July for copyright and trademark infringement. They said that they're using copyrighted material, meaning how Moe's Tavern is designed, that is copyrighted. How the characters look, that is copyrighted, okay? Duff Beer, that is trademarked. So all of that stuff within the Simpsons universe, it's protected. You can't just use it, right? So they sent them. So again, they sent the cease and desist. They paid them dust. They said, "Okay, you're not gonna pay attention to the cease and desist. Well, then we're gonna sue you." So now that they're suing them, come on, why, God, why are you gonna do this to me today? Okay, so again, so they filed a lawsuit. Here's where they messed up. The people who did the pop-up shop, they never responded to the lawsuit. They never responded. The court was like, "Hey girl, you got to come answer this," and they did not come to the door. They never showed up in court. So what do you think happens when you do not respond to a lawsuit? You get a default judgment for whoever shows up. So because Fox, the representative for Fox, because they pay their lawyers very well, they sent all the paperwork, and because those people who ran the pop-up shop did not even bother to respond, let alone show up for the trial, there was a default judgment granted to Fox, and those people who ran the pop-up shop have been ordered to pay $1.26 million. $1.26 million because you didn't want to open the mail, because you didn't want to show up in court. Guys, it's not a game out here with this intellectual property, okay? Now, listen, they're going to find these gentlemen or whoever did this. They're definitely going to find them. But I'm going to break down for you how they came to that number, okay? So they charged them $30,000 for each act of copyright infringement, $100,000 for each act of trademark infringement, and $5,000 for cyber squatting, because they got domain names for these pop-ups and were using like Moe's Tavern and things like that. Again, these are protected names, okay? So now, aside from the money, the defendants have to remove all online material, including marketing, merchandise, and return any equipment. And the court said the defendant's conduct, it was blatant and repeated. And again, the fact that they showed up to court, that they did not show up to court, shows that they had no legal defense. They knew what they were doing was messed up, and they decided to do it anyway. And them's the breaks. When you decide to violate people's intellectual property, that is the gamble that you take. You might get sued. Okay. All right. Okay, so next story that we are talking about. Did y'all know Michael Jordan has a tequila? Did y'all know Michael Jordan has a tequila? If you knew Michael Jordan has a tequila, please give me an MJ in the comments. Okay. If you knew come on, bro. If you knew Michael Jordan, got on Tintin. Come on. Stop embarrassing me, computer. Okay. Well, he does. And if I could get this thing to cooperate, come on, let's go. Thank you guys for being hanging in here with me with my what you call that? Here we go. Technical difficulties. Okay. So again, so Michael Jordan has a tequila company. It is called Cincoro Tequila. Cincoro. Has anybody heard of Cincoro Tequila? I've had his tequila a couple times. If you have anybody heard of Cincoro Tequila? Okay. Now, because it's Michael Jordan, okay, it's supposed to be a very, high class, super pure tequila. They claim that the tequila is made with 100% blue Weber agave, okay? But when this consumer tested the tequila, they found other forms of ethanol, meaning other forms of alcohol in there that were derived from other sources like sugarcane. Okay. Now, consumers have been paying a premium price because they were told that this is a 100% pure blue Weber agave tequila. And now you telling me that you got, I don't know, Taka vodka in there in the bottle, and I'm paying however much for it. So there is a lawsuit now. It's actually a class action lawsuit for this liquor, and Michael Jordan gonna have some explaining to do. What happened? Why is there other forms of alcohol in this when you claim that it's 100% blue agave, right? So that is misleading your customer. That is false advertising. You told us that this was 100% blue Weber agave, and we're finding out that you got some cheap stuff in here. Okay, sugarcane, alcohol, Everclear, whatever you want to put in it. So a lot of tequila brands have been flagged for fraudulent ingredients. I remember around here, we have a shop around here. They're closed now, but it was TikTok Liquors, and they got busted big time because they were taking all the high-end liquor and they were changing it out the bottles with cheap liquor, but still charging you the high-end price. They are no longer in business. Okay. So yes, so there is a class action lawsuit against Cincoro Tequila, of which Michael Jordan is part owner, for false advertising. Okay, now think about that. Cincoro Tequila, it's supposed to be this high class tequila. The name is supposed to come, with class. It's supposed to be expensive, make you feel like you're rich. And then I'm finding out that it's some cheap liquor in this. I could have got this down at ABC Liquors for $23.99. So yes. Now the liquor brand, they are denying all of the allegations. They're saying that it's you remember TikTok? Yes. They say that it's 100% agave. And that's their tequila, and they're gonna stick beside it. So we will have to see what happens with that. But Cincoro might have to pay out some funds. So again, so it is important, if you are building a brand that is based on purity, and you are trying to give your customers that pure experience, the assertions that you make in your advertisements are guarantees that you are making to your audience. That's why you can't just say whatever you want in your advertisement. Like the Red Bull commercial where they say Red Bull gives you wings, but not really. Because it's like, what if somebody said, well, I took Red Bull and, I thought it was going to give me wings, and I tried to fly off, the high rise, and now I got 2 broken legs. You told me it was going to give me wings. Now, of course, that is a very, extreme situation, but, it's kind of just so that I can illustrate why false advertisement, is not good. Okay. All right. So, good luck to Mr. Jordan. Let's see. Our next story of the evening. Do we have any Bad Bunny fans in the house? Baboni. I don't know any of his songs, but I find his shenanigans interesting. We got any Bad Bunny fans? Bad Bunny fans. Bad Bunny fans. Okay, hold on. So, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. One more time. Everybody's feeling fine. Here we go. Okay. So, you love him, Conjure? Well, did you know that somebody's trying to sue him for $1 million? This old man is trying to sue Bad Bunny for $1 million because he said that Bad Bunny turned his house into a viral icon without his permission. Okay. So, a gentleman by the name of Roman Carrasco Delgado. He is an 84-year-old gentleman. He lives in Puerto Rico. He is suing Bad Bunny along with his companies because he said that, here's what he said. Hold on. Come on. Work with me. He said that his house, which was featured in Bad Bunny's short film. He had a short film called Debí Tirar Más Fotos. Okay. So there was a house that was featured in Bad Bunny's short film. Yes, right? And because he liked the house so much, he replicated the house for his tour. So now the house has become kind of this viral sensation, but now the owner of the house is suing Bad Bunny because he's saying that, this is what he said. He said that he has been caused emotional distress caused by loss of privacy, daily traffic of visitors and tourists, and negative attention from social media. So basically, people keep showing up at his house, and he don't like it. And then he said he did not understand the contracts that he signed because they were delivered digitally without his full understanding. So he said he did not read. He could not read. He couldn't read the contracts, and he signed, without knowing what he was signing. You're 84, sir. And then he was saying that, he only got $5,200, and the video has over 22 million views. And then Bad Bunny went and made a replica of the house, and now people are, and that's he's doing that against my permission. So now he wants $1 million from Bad Bunny. He's saying that he was not given consent for all of this, and that, because he cannot read or write, that he was not properly educated on what was going to happen. What they did, all they did was they just had his house in the short film. They didn't go in, they didn't say, oh, this is who owns it. They just showed it, and then they made a copy for the tour. So now he wants $1 million. So do y'all think he really is feeling emotional distress, or is he just feeling kind of salty because he's like, Bad Bunny got mad money and all I got was $5,200? What do you think is the motivation behind this? Because, sir, I don't believe that you're 84 here. You don't know how to read or write, but you were able to sign multiple contracts and you were fine with the $5,200. But now that you realize who Bad Bunny is, you suing for $1 million, sir. Anyway, I hope Bad Bunny wins. Because what is this? Sir, you do not have, like, granted, there are limits to, how people can film your properties, but you cannot prevent somebody from making art. Like, get over yourself. But good luck to everybody involved. What time is it? 7:43? Have we gone over everything? Okay. We've gone over Bad Bunny. We did Duke University. We did The Simpsons. We did Anthropic. We did Michael Jordan. Hi, Simply Extraordinary. We did Apollonia. Am I missing anybody? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the last story that we are talking about. So basically, how many my people who do AI out here, how many of you guys use Midjourney? If you use Midjourney, please give me an M in the comments, okay? Now, so as you know, Midjourney has been sued by a lot of Hollywood houses because they basically are replicating everything that has come into, when you're trying to do something in Midjourney, they're using characters that are trademarked or copyrighted and things like that, right? Well, the same thing is happening in China. There is a Chinese app called Minimax that basically does the same thing. So Walt Disney, Universal Pictures, Warner Brothers Discovery, they are suing this Chinese version of Midjourney for cloning your favorite characters, okay? But some people don't have digression, so the gringos could be doing the most. Oh, you talking about Bad Bunny? I don't know, girl. I just feel like if you sign a contract at 84 to use your house, you know what you're doing. I'm gonna assume that you are of sound mind until you give me, indication that you are not. Anyway, so the Hollywood houses are suing this Chinese version of Midjourney. You guys, this AI thing, it's not stopping, okay? You guys need to be very, very careful about the programs that you are using, about the bases that you are using to create using AI. You want to be as original as possible because you do not want to be caught up in a situation where, maybe some program that you're using gets shut down because they're violating intellectual property. So I would really advise you guys to be as original as possible, okay? Yes, you may have the gift of replication, but it's always best to be original, okay? So those were all the stories that I wanted to share with you. We still have a few minutes. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask me about business, about trademarks, about copyrights, about any of the stories that we covered tonight, now is your time to do so. I can do so for about 10 minutes. And then I got to hit the road because your girl's got appointments. But yes, do we have any questions on anything that we talked about tonight, or even just a general question that you have about business? Let me know. I can bring you up here, or you can just type it in the comments. Okay. Let me know. While you guys do that, I want to tell you guys I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for, putting your comments in. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. You guys are awesome. I do this for y'all. And if you have any stories that you want me to cover, please let me know. And I will be more than happy to do so. Okay. So do we have any more questions before we close for the night? Before we close for the night? No questions? All right. So, okay. What do you think AI is going to do with business in the future? It depends on what aspect, because they're using AI everywhere, right? I was just reading an article yesterday where they were saying that, using, because insurance companies are trying to use AI for, to streamline claims and things like that. And it's actually making more mistakes than it's actually streamlining things. So I think that AI is going to be an essential part of business in terms of being able to do more with less. But you still have to think about the trade-off, because there's also an environmental cost when it comes to using AI. AI uses a lot of fresh water. So I do think that in the future, once we get out of this administration, there may be some you watched. Hey, I'm glad, Ricky Wong, thank you. There may be some environmental pullbacks because of how it's affecting the environment, okay? But we can't know how it's going to affect business, because if it's going to affect business laws, the courts are they're not proactive. They wait for the thing to happen, and then they make a very narrow decision because they don't want to just make a bright line rule and then something comes and messes it all up. Okay, so we just have to wait and see what the courts do, and that's how we're going to know where it's headed to. All right, so if we don't have any more questions, your girl is going to sign off for the night. Thank you guys for, whether you just watched, whether you gave your comments, if you participated in any form or fashion, if you gave me some of your time tonight, I am thankful. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, bye. All right. And now, and share, and stream, and the stream, and the stream. Come on, yo.